We could turn the lights off.
No.
Coward.
It's not a terrible idea to turn the lights off, but...
I think it's a pretty terrible idea to turn the lights off. Because I don't have any desire to be caught up in this room with the lights off hanging out with y'all. Because that's...
You're right, we do look like hooligans.
That's illegal. Hey everyone, welcome back to Off the Air. We're recording on my phone while we wait for my hand recorder to actually finish formatting. But we are going to run out of time. So at some point we'll switch over to the recorder.
Maybe.
And it'll be, if it takes us an entire podcast episode to...
Calibrate the recorder?
Yeah, that would be stupid. But, stupider things have happened.
I feel like it has been a while already, so I mean,
It has. It's been doing it for like 15 minutes.
It's a lot of formatting. I mean, what could possibly be going on in there?
It's a bunch of little dudes, like Inside Out, the Pixar movie.
Just
Pixar's
like
famous movie, Inside Out.
Movie, yes.
The Pixar movie. They're in there running around.
The incredibly famous.
I'm really
Pixar
upset that you said, just like Inside Out, the Pixar movie, as if you said there were things that were small inside of another thing. That's what she said. And it was a Pixar movie.
You can't do
and
that.
You
We're
said,
in a church.
I think I can do that. Noah, can I get the...
We've definitely made that joke here.
Okay, that's fair then. All right. You're the resident
That joke
authority.
is church approved.
I don't know if it's church approved, but we've just definitely made it here.
We've said it. I've said that here.
Pixar movie.
Yeah, I'm just like offended that you would think that you could just say like Inside Out, and then you'd be like, the Pixar movie, as if I was like, oh yeah, the other movie Inside Out.
You and I did go see the Emoji movie.
We did see the Emoji movie. That's correct. Holy cow! I had totally forgotten about that. Man,
that was actually one of the first things that we learned about Nina was that you two had gone to see the Emoji movie.
I feel like that sounds about right. Now, was that on the episode of the podcast when I wasn't there?
Yes.
You
didn't even get to defend yourself.
There's
no defense. It was something that we decided we were going to do.
It was like a bet.
It was a bet. And the fun thing is, the bet was not that whether or not we'd go see the Emoji movie. We decided that we were gonna go see the Emoji movie, and then the bet was about who would pay for the tickets.
Yeah, the bet was about who would have to like live their life saying, "I paid for the Emoji movie,"
and that would be me.
Yeah, Nina had to pay for the Emoji.
I already knew.
You had to pay to go to the Emoji movie.
I paid for. Our
tickets. Did not have to pay. So
yeah.
I also would not pay to see the Emoji movie.
Precisely. She would pay double. She would and did pay double.
I would and did. To be fair, Waco movie tickets are much cheaper.
They're like $6.
Yeah, it's especially I was.
Well, it's kind of like the same kind of price you get up around here right now.
yeah, pretty reasonable. I mean, it's just kind of like they're really just trying to get people in there, and they make all their money on the concessions.
I almost never buy concessions when I'm in a movie theater.
Yeah, I don't.
Is this illegal to say on a podcast? And
no,
sometimes I smuggle. Yeah, everyone does.
Yeah, no.
Definitely smuggle it. My mom smuggled in like this bag of like the most disgusting candy I ever had. They're called nerd balls. And
are you allowed to say that in church?
No.
They're like nerds, but they're like the hard candy coating on the outside and then they're chewy on the inside.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing those. I like nerds, but I don't like nerds.
I don't like
nerds that much.
I mean, I guess since we've mentioned the church a few times, though, before we get too far in, this is an in-person episode with me, Jackson, and Nina.
Hello.
And because the library has areas where we could record, but they're not open until Jackson needs to be at work. Every other day of the week, except today, they are open longer.
Yeah.
Just not today. So instead, we're at my old place of employment, which is a church, hanging up in one of the rooms I've never been in before.
We're learning some wild things about Noah today.
Are we?
He's a church boy.
I think we knew that.
That's been very established.
I think Noah and I have had like several episodes where we just talked about that, actually.
Well, I don't listen to the podcast.
Who would in this economy? That was your resident Dan joke of the day.
Since Dan is once more not here with us.
I know I promised he'd be back, but I actually can promise he'll be back on the next episode because he has his recording set up back again.
Aw.
I believe his computer is dead, but his laptop does work, and he can record a podcast on that one. So
there you go. I actually got a laptop recently, like 2 days ago.
Nice.
It's literally right here. You've both seen it.
Yes.
It's in front of you.
I do love those things a lot.
They're pretty neat.
Would you recommend getting one?
Yes.
Well, I've had it for like
Welcome to Jackson's Tech Corner?
Jackson's Tech Corner.
No beer corner, because we are in church.
Yeah. Yeah. I did think about that, which is funny because Nina and Noah had separately from myself thought about it. basically seeing where I could get beer that I'm not supposed to have beer. Like we were gonna record in the library was the plan today, and I was like, okay, no beer corner. But then there was also a part of me that was like, hey, maybe beer corner, but like get it and pour it in a travel mug. And then I didn't do that because it's
Obvious reasons.
Obvious
Yeah.
reasons.
there's like several reasons, and most of them are legality issues and also like morality issues. So I just didn't.
That's valid.
Thank you.
I can respect that.
Thank you as well for respecting my choice to not bring alcohol into a public building.
See, Nina and I, instead of your idea of actually being sneaky, we just had this thought of you like slipping a can of beer in on your person and then just like recording on your phone, crack it open, drink some, try and describe it before you get kicked out of the building. Which
Yeah.
some places you'd be able to do better than others.
Yeah, and some places you'd like potentially get fined.
Serious amounts of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Especially
don't want to do
first
that.
offense is always pretty cheap, but then after that it's a pretty steep climb.
The implication is that this wouldn't be your first offense. In that sentence that you just said.
No, it's not. I said the first offense is usually pretty cheap.
You said serious money before that.
Noah's serious money. Noah's the one who's been drinking in public.
I have done that, yeah.
Noah.
I have too, but not like where it's legal. You know, like I've done it where
That's fair.
you're allowed to.
Yeah.
I have not.
Did that when I was in New Orleans, actually.
Oh,
Aren't you just allowed to drink anywhere in New Orleans because it's a
No.
lawless wasteland?
No.
Okay,
no.
so you're allowed to drink on Bourbon Street with an open container. But also, yeah, because it's a lawless wasteland, you can drink anywhere.
Because the cops are too busy trying to handle big problems
No,
to
they're
worry.
not.
No?
No.
Dang.
I saw one cop on a horse when I was there, and he was just minding his own business the
Yeah.
whole time.
When
He
did you
was-
make it out there?
I went in April,
Yeah.
late April this year, and I went in mid-April last year.
You made it out for Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras was like I think the week or 2 weeks later or 2 weeks before.
Because I remember when we were in Waco, because I don't remember how long the drive is, but you and I were like bouncing around the idea of going to Mardi Gras with what's his face? McCain.
Yeah. So I did that, but I was so like I think that was probably like September maybe, and then I went in April because Mardi Gras it's in like May, so I missed it by a little bit, but it also
Tragic.
yeah it's also not that bad to avoid the crazy festivities
That's understandable.
when possible. So
Yeah.
I think, Nina, you and I were talking about this just the other day. I would really love to visit like New Orleans. And Mardi Gras sounds like it would be a fun time, but I know it's so violently not my scene. I don't think I would enjoy it.
yeah, and honestly, the thing is, you just go on a weekend and it's functionally Mardi Gras.
It is functionally
It's
Mardi Gras. If you're
nowhere
on
near
Bourbon
the
Street,
scale. But yeah, you can only get a street so packed, and trust me, it's packed.
it is.
So like, I was out on a Friday. I was on Frenchman Street with McCain, and it was really packed. And luckily, it was pretty easy to get around because he works there. So like, parking was not a nightmare and all that stuff. And he works like in the market on French Street, so you like walk out in front and like boom, you're there.
Nice.
So
Nice. Yeah, we went for when I turned like I think 18. My dad was like, "Oh, we were going to Puerto Rico for Christmas, as you do, to visit family, which lived there." And he was like, "Okay, so we're gonna stop on the way there to pick Nina up in Texas, and then we'll do something." I was like, "Why don't I just meet you guys in Louisiana? We'll go from there." And so we did. And I was not drinking age, but the whole like if your parents are present, it's fine kind of deal applies. And so that was a party time.
yeah, and for those who aren't aware, in most southern states, at least Texas and Louisiana, and probably several others because the South is a lawless wasteland, you are allowed to drink in Texas at any age with your parents present. Obviously, like you could literally be like 6.
Yeah.
What a lawless wasteland.
Now, of course, any establishment will not do that. They'll be like,
No, I got kicked out of George's in Waco for drinking a sip out of my mom's margarita.
Yeah, and like it's legal, but most establishments won't like let you do it.
That way they can make sure that they're staying on the up and up. Because I feel like while it
You
may
can still
be
get your
state
liquor
legal,
license taken.
your federal legality of it may be a little bit in
Yeah.
question.
I know where I used to work, it was allowed. They had to be over 18. It's like kind of like our policy. So we had a couple of times where people would be like, "Hey, can I get like a beer or whatever?" I'm like, "Oh, can I see your ID?" And they're like, their parent would be like, "Hey, I my ID and his, and we were related." And I saw he was like 19. I was like, "Yeah, you're allowed. It's Texas. Go for it."
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
But yeah, it has to be like your parent or legal guardian. And obviously that legal guardian is kind of murky because
How do you prove someone's a legal guardian?
and I would probably usually just say no. But Texas and Louisiana, it's kind of like you're allowed to do that. Also in Bourbon, like in New Orleans, there's no one there to like. A cop's not gonna check your ID.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just gonna arrest you.
No, they're not gonna arrest you. They I don't know if they even do that. I mean, they literally do, but I don't know.
Do cops even arrest people? More at 11?
In New Orleans, though.
In New Orleans specifically, maybe not.
Who knows? More at 11. I had to be at work before that, so we can't be here till 11.
I mean, I can just stay around. You guys
can
do whatever
provide
you
the
need.
more?
Yeah, exactly. I'll do the more.
She'll just sit here in dead silence in this room
Until
for like
11.
how many hours would that be?
Like-
for like 8 hours. You're just gonna sit here in dead silence, and then they can, and then you'll just stop and you'll leave.
Oh man, it's like when the end of albums when people will put like a hidden track and it's like a song ends and there's literally like 10 minutes of silence.
Oh
and
god,
then a track.
AWOL did that with I don't remember which song it is. Nights of Shame, AWOL did that, and I was just like, it always made me annoyed because I'd want to listen to that song on like Pandora, and I'd be out of skips and be stuck listening to the whole like 2 minutes of silence.
Oh, that's not even that bad. I mean, because it's obviously for like
that's
a
a
vinyl
rough
format.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hidden tracks, so you have to keep listening after it ends.
It makes me really angry that in a digital age, bands that release stuff don't clean that up. Because I like Disturbed when they put out their album Asylum. Yeah, they put out their album Asylum. It was they had their cover of I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For hidden on that one, but like it's after 4 minutes of silence,
Yeah.
which is fine. You know, if you want to put that on the album, that's fine. But on Spotify, it is the same thing. So I can't put that song on any of my playlists, even though I really enjoy it.
Because unless you're literally there to hit a button,
Exactly.
move the
Yeah.
time.
I have zero desire to sit there waiting for 5 minutes of dead silence while I'm cutting hair just to listen to Draymond sing I Haven't Found What I'm Looking For.
Yeah.
I don't like the song that much, and I haven't listened to it since because of it.
Yeah, I know the main one of my favorite bands does that. They have a song and it's like 6 minutes of silence. It's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a 14-minute song, but only because like the first song's like 3 minutes. There's like 70 minutes of silence and another 3 minutes. Like it's actually absurd.
It is absurd because it just at this point makes no sense to keep it that way. Like it's not helping anyone out.
I think the best play, My Chemical Romance on the Black Parade, there's a hidden track.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Blood, and
It's a very fun song.
I love it.
song.
It's one of my favorites. But it's
Good album in general.
yeah, it's a really fun little tune. But on the album, like on the digital release, they released it as instead of like a 12-track album, it's a 13-track, and the 13th track is Blood, and it has like a 2 minutes of silence, and then the song starts. So like,
It's still
if you
not
want to
the
listen to
best,
it, it's
but-
still like if you're just listening to it, not shuffle, like just listen to the album, it'll still have the same effect. But it's also you can just listen to famous last words and not be like, well, I guess we'll have to put up with the 2 minutes of silence in here.
That's true.
That is nice. Do you know Brian Head Welch?
The Korn.
Yeah, the guitarist for Korn.
The Korn.
So
The
when
Korn.
when he released his solo album, every track had a lead in, but
Wait, was
the
this
way
before or after he became religious?
this was in the heat of it.
Okay, so this is like okay,
This was his religious album.
gotcha.
And every song on the album has one of those like negative time sections.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, but you know, when you ripped it, it got tacked onto the end of the other song. So if you're listening through, you get the same effect of lead into the song. But if you're listening to songs now, they also have that like extra intro
Bit,
tacked
yeah.
on too.
Skillet did that in Rise. They had a couple intros to songs at the end of other songs, and I was just not a fan because the intro to Not Gonna Die was like a big part of the song for me. Like I don't like listening to it without the intro, but it's tacked onto one of the worst songs on the album, so
Unfortunate.
just a pain.
Yeah.
Speaking of religious albums, though, Avril Lavigne put out a really religious song the other
Good
day.
for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's her second or third big religious song that she's been putting out.
Avril, what's
Yeah.
going on?
She got Lyme disease and something, I think. Went
that
down.
makes you religious.
Yeah, she went out and found Jesus.
She went and found Jesus.
And also,
And also-
Ticks found her.
Also, did
No.
she?
What do you mean no? How'd you get Lyme disease then?
I don't know. My bad.
Can you get it from anything else?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Bless you.
Bless you.
It's a church. We have to say.
I realize a big part of Jackson and I's like humor is just looking at each other, so that's not gonna translate well.
No, it does.
Yeah,
I'm
you
convinced.
can hear it. I can hear like the bones in your body creaking as you turn to look.
Creaking.
Mm-hmm.
You got creaky bones?
I do. Yeah,
It's true.
I really do
Wait.
have creaky bones. It's yes.
The creak.
He can.
You're fake creaking. Noah, this is gaslighting. Noah is fake creaking.
I can't do it on purpose.
Don't creak
But my
on
my ankles will just be sitting on the couch and I'll move and my ankle will like pop. And then he mocked me for it last night.
Mm-hmm.
Roasted.
Yeah.
I have to do like you guys ever have like your chest pop? Like
Oh
your,
yeah, like your ribs.
Yeah, like,
that happens to me
well, it
all
happens
the
like
time.
up here, like my like sternum area. Like
Ooh.
whenever I wake up, I basically have to like wrench my body, and there's like a pop.
See,
Otherwise,
no,
it like kind of feels weird.
mine are my
I've
ribs.
never had that happen.
My
Not gonna
ribs
lie.
come out of socket and it's like a stabbing pain until I take a deep breath and I pop back in again.
Yeah, mine's more like upper chest,
Yeah.
like sternum area.
It's like right down
Like
here. It's like in my lungs.
Could be my clavicle. No, it's lower.
Your clavicle.
It's lower than my clavicle though.
I really pronounce clavicle. It's
Clavicle.
weird.
It's one of those words where it's like any word, if you say it enough, it means nothing, you know? But clavicle,
Coccyx.
like 4 clavicles and you're gone.
I was like, 4 clavicles? I mean, I don't even think it took more than 2 clavicles for me to be like, clavicle isn't even a word anymore.
Yeah, honestly, it's weird how fast that happens with some words.
Yeah, clavicle's up
Stop
there.
saying it. We're out. We can't say it anymore.
Can't say
Speaking
what?
of-
Can't say clavicle?
I really want to say clavicle, honestly.
Speaking of clavicle, Nina is our guest today.
Yes, speaking of clavicle.
I'll just say, words that you got sick of hearing. I said guest far too many times at the beginning of the last episode, and you were like, stop saying guest.
Oh, yes. Because Jeff was your guest last episode, and
He
now
was.
I'm your guest this episode.
It's true,
After hearing clavicle, guest is such a meaningful thing to me.
right?
Like, I feel like no other word could ever lose meaning again now that I've understood and conceptualized clavicle.
And honestly, the main reason is because clavicle is just such a weird word.
And no one ever says it.
No one ever
Never.
uses it.
But everyone knows what it is. Like,
Does-
functionally, it's there.
Yeah.
You see them on people all the time.
Yeah.
Isn't it the collarbone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's here.
these bad
It's
boys.
like right here. I have ones that I like really prominent. Like
I
clavicles.
don't.
Like if you were a rock climbing wall, that would be like one of the expert like rock climbing spots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You could hook your fingers under these dudes.
Yeah, you could climb up by somebody's clavicles.
This is a weird conversation.
I feel like
But I
it would
guess-
not feel good for the person who.
No,
No,
definitely
it
not.
doesn't feel, I'm just like touching it right now. Like
It's not
Not a good feeling.
Yeah, you shouldn't put your finger. Like you can just like put your fingers like
Hook 'em right in there.
behind the clavicle holes. Not a good time, guys.
clavicle hole.
Don't your clavities. Yeah, don't get too deep in your clavities. It doesn't feel good.
Oh no. Good lord.
It's like one of those things where like the human body can do so many great things, but also every once in a while you'll just like touch a spot and be like, nope, that's not, fingers don't go there. It just like hurts.
Your clavities, for instance.
Exactly. Like you've got like so many like places in between like bones all over your body where like you
Yeah.
can just like you can push
You
and
can-
you're like, oh,
Under my ribs, you can like I
Yeah,
can
you
hook my
can-
fingers
yeah,
under
you can
there.
I was
your
just
hand-
about to say I know some people that used to like hook their fingers under their ribs.
you were gonna say finger the ribs, weren't you?
No, I was not about to say that.
I feel like you were.
because I'm in a church and I wouldn't have said that anyway.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I just like it's one of those things where you hear people like fall off of like a 70-foot building on a concrete and they survive. And then also like one of the most common ways to die is you just slip in the shower.
Yeah.
And I just be thinking about that all the
Yeah.
time. I'm like,
Human body's weird.
yeah.
I was babysitting this kid and we were out at a coffee shop chatting and
you slip in the shower?
yeah, and then I died.
It
No.
was really traumatic.
Wait,
for the
he
kid.
slipped in the shower and you died?
No, I died. In the shower I slipped.
Oh, okay, I thought he slipped and somehow
no,
it
the
caused
kid
you to
was
die.
the kid is not a dude anyway. So
Oh.
it's another child. So this child and I are out.
You say it's a nether child?
Yeah.
Yes. Like from Minecraft.
Yeah.
Okay, like a zombie pigman.
Yeah, exactly. So this kid is with me. And we're hanging out and we're discussing like things that like our bodies can do and like she can do something with her hands. I don't remember what it was. It was weird. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, I can take my hands here and
And
I
do
can
it to
just flip my arms all the way around my body. My shoulders are double jointed. And I did this to prove it. And a lady sitting across the coffee shop just goes, "Oh no," and like stood up.
Oh, egads.
My word. And so I just looked over and I was like, she's like, "I'm sorry, you said you were going to do it. And you did it."
No, I had to do it to him.
She knew I had to do it to him.
We all just did the motion.
Yeah.
We all just did it to each other. It was
In
like
a church, no less.
it's like the Mexican standoff of Lucky Luciano. Like nobody's safe. Like somebody, people are getting it
Someone
done.
play Ecstasy of Gold in the background, please, because that's not that one anyway.
Unimportant.
You don't
Somebody
know.
play Careless Whisper in the background.
Oh, I've got a video of my little sister playing Careless Whisper.
Nice.
It's a pretty great video.
She told me
Pretty great song.
it's a very good song. She told me that she was getting to do a solo for her band. I was like, okay, cool. What are you gonna play? She's like, Careless Whisper. I'm like, why would you do that?
Because it's a banger.
It is a banger. It is, and she killed it. So
It's good.
yeah.
I just remember I was at a show that night and I get tagged on Facebook and I'm like, what? And it said that you had tagged me. I'm like, what on earth is she tagging me for? And I open it up. It's like, hey, as promised, here's my sister playing Careless Whisper. And I'm like, oh.
What a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, she played it on the alto sax instead of on the soprano, which it's normally played on, so it's got like a deeper, richer tone to it. It's pretty good. Smooth like, not me, I guess.
Apparently not. See, the nice thing about this episode is because it's 3 people on one track, there's not going to be the same kind of editing to make the conversation flow, since usually we record and we're in 3 very different parts of Pennsylvania, you know, or wherever the guest happens to live.
Oh, yeah,
But because we're doing it online, there's a little bit of altering to make sure the conversation actually flows properly. Here, you know, Nina gets to stumble over her words, and we're just gonna live
We're
with it.
helpless. We can't do anything about it.
It's true.
You could do something about it. You could kick me out. I'll leave right now.
No, you're already part of this.
Well, like, I'm crunching the numbers.
Mhm.
What would happen if Nina just was like, "Nah, I'm out," and just left? Would we continue, or would
Yeah,
we read
we
I
this
mean,
finish
episode?
the
we would
episode.
definitely continue, and we would just
You think we would just be like,
we'd just plug her stuff at the end and be like, "Hey, go find her on Twitter or whatever."
Go find her. We don't know where she is.
"Someone, please"? It is a big church, though.
It is a rather large church. So we've been recording for like 20 something minutes now, and this stupid thing has been formatting for at least 35 minutes.
Wait, it's not done formatting?
It is not done formatting.
Well, there's a lot to go down, I guess. A lot of formatting.
I
to
mean, I
do.
guess it's like
Lot of
a
work to be done.
64 gig micro SD card. But still,
That's being formatted.
it's just such a long time. I just wanted to use good recording stuff, but
Welcome
here we are.
to maybe the worst audio quality since my original guest episode where I was using my computer's default mic.
Beg to differ. I think our worst audio quality was the time that I actually did use this handheld one.
It's true.
But it was because it was sitting between me, Dan, Danny, and Jackson on the floor.
Yeah, it was suboptimal.
And there was zero editing done to that episode for the most part.
Whack.
And I didn't know how to EQ out room tone at the time.
Mhm.
So it was just there.
Speaking
Yeah.
of EQing out room tone,
Oh yeah, we got some very buzzy light
Yeah, we got
bulbs
some
in here.
buzzy lights, and Nina and I figured it out. You know, big brain ideas here.
we were like,
Just turn the lights off and
turn
it's
the
quiet.
lights off.
And Noah says, "No, I don't want to turn the lights off because I'm afraid of the dark."
Yeah, that was exactly it too.
Word for word, that's what he said.
That's precisely what he said. It's our word against yours anyway.
Mm.
So,
Well, that one I can edit out.
Not if wait, can you? I mean, I guess. What if Nina and I like stagger our saying it whenever
Yeah.
you're trying to talk
yeah.
for the rest of the episode, so you have no choice but to leave?
So I'm just like, as I talk in the background,
Noah's
you're over
afraid
here
of
like,
the
no, I was
dark."
afraid of the dark, no, I was afraid of the dark, no, I was afraid of the dark, no, I was afraid of the dark.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's a thing that could happen.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I would
podcast
prefer
terrorism.
that it didn't happen.
Podcast sabotage.
Yeah, we're gonna. This
Pod
we're
poo-poo?
holding this place up. No, I don't think that's. What
I
it
don't
is.
like that at all.
I feel like you can't say that. It's one of those things like there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it just sounds wrong. Like you ever have that happen where like someone says a word and you're like, "Whoa, what?"
Yeah, like
I know.
this part in your arm right here, this bit here.
Don't say it. This isn't like 7th grade.
Well,
No,
it's
no,
a perfect example.
It's true.
You're
It
about
is.
to call it something different, I think. So go ahead and I'll tell you
Oh,
that
it's
you're
gonna
wrong.
cause the weenus.
That's not the weenus, though. The weenus is the
It's true.
This is the
weenus
outside,
is the
this
skin
is
on
the
the elbow.
weenus.
On the inside, that's the ditch of your
The
forearm.
ditch.
That's
Okay,
the
and then
ditch.
I was told, but this might be a Puerto Rican prank, that the back part of your knee is called the ñe.
I don't,
Yeah, do you think it's a Puerto Rican prank, or do you think someone just had you? Like, do you think they just like got
It
you?
was my dad, and I always assume that everything he does is fueled by his Puerto Rican upbringing.
yeah, that's the ditch of your knee.
The ditch.
The ditch.
So lame. But this is
That's
still
what
the
Rob
weenus.
Zombie
Like
was
this is
talking
actually
about.
the weenus.
Yeah. Yes, that is the weenus. Yes, congratulations. The only reason I know it's called a ditch is because the barbershop is connected to the tattoo guys.
Got it.
So like, I picked up vague body anatomy terminology. I guess
Interesting.
I don't freaking know. All I know is I wouldn't get a tattoo.
Can you not
there
get a
'cause
tattoo on your weenus?
If you're
I've
so-
always seen them.
If you're so smart about the body, what's this?
Why is your foot on the table?
He's good. He's pretty clever, that Noah.
I've never seen. Back to what I was saying. I've never seen anyone with a tattoo on their weenus.
Are you kidding? Please just say your elbow.
Yeah, you gotta-
And so many people get elbow tattoos.
Yeah, it's like if you have a sleeve, it's probably gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll look really weird.
Well, I've seen people that had like a spider web kind of pattern around their elbow, and it like was blank there. But
No, so if you look up like the Japanese bodysuits, that's fully covered.
whack.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm just seeing people with weird tattoos. You know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I like to go to see Japan and visit Japan, but you can't really have tattoos in Japan.
Can you not?
Well, I mean, you literally can. They're not gonna kick you out.
Well, I mean, but like,
But
people are
But
gonna
there's a
get
lot of
weird
stuff.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't do a lot of stuff. Like you can't go to the bathhouses because if you have
Awesome.
tattoos, you can.
Actually,
I'm sorry.
Continue.
Shut up,
Sorry.
Mr. Weeb.
You're not able to go certain places if you have tattoos because you will be associated with the Yakuza.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's basically it. And also, like, just the public opinion of tattoos is tied, like, exclusively to the Yakuza. So they're like,
Over here, tattoos are attached to like, bikers, criminals, and hipsters. And the hipsters have taken over from
and
the bikers
you know
and
what?
criminals.
To be fair, the
You're-
Yakuza too.
I've-
When I
I've
saw
never
Noah for the
met
first
anyone from
time,
the
I was like,
Yakuza.
that guy's probably a Japanese criminal.
It's true.
He's
I am,
probably in
actually.
organized crime
Are you?
Yeah.
coming from the nation of Japan. Now, this is impressive because I knew Noah before he had any tattoos. So this was like 8 years ago.
Yeah, this
I met
was
him
just
and I was
a
like, I
snap
still think
decision.
he's probably somehow closely related to Japanese organized crime. I'm just as a
That
hunch.
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would definitely
The
make
part
sense.
where I was afraid of fields of corn probably was what like clued you in.
Yeah, that's kind of sad that you're afraid of fields of corn.
I'm
And the
okay.
dark.
So let me
And the dark.
let me just say, if you've been in a big freaking field where you're like you walk through the woods and it's 2 a.m. and you walk out and there's like 3 feet of path and then cornfield and all you have is moonlight and the wind is blowing, so there's constant noise from that field, it's a little disconcerting.
That sounds really peaceful.
That sounds like a cornfield.
It does. It sounds like
See,
a
you
cornfield.
know, actually, Noah, this is something we should have talked about when Jeff was on the episode.
It is.
Because I'm sure you remember going to the field when we were youngins.
I was actually hanging out with Jeff last night, and that's how I got reminded of this again.
And see, Nina was like, gave me a look like she's like, the field? So the field was like an infamous like hangout spot that we had devised. Basically, our friends, the brothers, who we've talked about several times, who have fallen from grace.
yes, I remember them.
Yes.
Very much so, yes.
But they used to be homies. And we would always hang out at their house. And behind their house, you could like walk down this little trail and it opened up into a huge like farmer's field. Most of it being corn. And then if you kind of like walked through the corn for a little bit, you got into like an open area with hay bales. And so the brothers, Jeff and I, would go out there all the time. Noah, not as often. But yeah, we would just go out there and hang out. It was just a really good time.
What did you do?
You just kind of hang out.
Yeah, just sit around, chat,
Yeah.
jump off hay bales.
Okay, jumping off hay bales, I can get behind. I have friends who broke their foot doing that.
Cowards.
Really just bad at landing, honestly. You know, this is my friend who's always injured.
The one who kicks.
Yeah, the one who kicked the guy in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good video. That's a really good video.
Don't
It
kick
is-
me in the face.
Whatever. Don't let me kick you in the face. It's a video of two of my guy friends sparring. One of them is a martial artist. The other is just a meatbag who likes to get punched sometimes. And the martial artist says, "Don't let me kick you in the face. It doesn't matter if you have to take my foot and fling me across the yard. That's fine. Just don't let me kick you in the face." And immediately runs up and just like kicks him in the face so hard that he stumbles back.
Yeah, he shouldn't have aimed for the face.
No, I think my favorite thing is that that was like a spinning kick. So he like faked him out with one kick and then spun around and just kicked him in the face.
Yeah, he really did try and kick him in the face.
And to be fair, he did say, "I'm going to kick you in the face."
Like,
So, like,
they
My
planned it
strat would
out.
just been like go like this from the start, just
Yeah.
get kicked in the arm instead.
Well, that was Isaac's plan. He thought that it was coming from the other direction,
both
so he
sides.
had his hand out like to catch him if it were coming from that direction, but he came from the other direction and just smacked him. So you can even hear him saying it afterwards. It's like, I told you not to let me kick you in the face. He's like, well, I thought you were going to be coming.
Don't let me kick you in the face. Well, I'm sorry, man. Didn't plan on letting you kick me in the face.
My bad, man. I really wanted you to kick me in the face.
I'm sorry. You told me not to let me kick you in. You kicked me in the face, but I just have a thing for kicking in the face. Sounds pretty good.
Who among us doesn't want to
I actually heavily oppose that statement.
You don't want to get kicked in the face?
I don't want to get kicked in the face.
Weird.
Punched in the face, different matter. Kicked in the face,
Okay, so why?
hard pass.
Elbow to the face?
Because I have been punched in the face, and that wasn't that bad.
So how do you know that kicked in the face isn't also going to
Because I've been kicked various other places, and none of those times were fun. And
Good point.
legs are way stronger than arms.
And feet are super bony and weird as well.
Exactly. And at least when I got punched in the face, the guy had some gloves on. Not like
That
full
probably
gloves.
might didn't
more
hurt
like
that bad. I got punched in the face by a guy wearing a glove. Didn't hurt that bad.
So
I thought I broke my nose. It was a really good time. I had a lot of fun with that fight.
I just feel like that doesn't sound like a good time.
I've never been punched in the face before. No, well, I mean, I got hit in the face with a Wii remote one time. And because of that, I'm missing half of my front tooth. But that wasn't an intentional punch, so I don't count it.
That's also a Wii remote. Far more
It
deadly.
wasn't a punch at all.
It was more of a like backhanded slap with a Wii remote in the fist, so
Yeah, I feel like a Wii remote is definitely like a powerful instrument of destruction.
oh yeah.
It's true. I mean, you've seen all the like pictures of people who have like a Wii remote embedded in their TV screen.
Those things are
I don't know how you do that, by
I
the
don't
way, because
either.
those things, they're solid, but they're not that solid.
and they're not that heavy. You gotta
No.
be playing tennis.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what we were doing.
But I mean playing tennis. Like you can't just be like, yeah.
No, that was okay. I feel like I have to get into detail now. My friend, don't do that.
What's a weird name for a friend?
My friend, who I've known since I was 6 years old, when we were about 12, she has a way of moving that takes up way more space than it necessarily needs to. And my mom said, okay, we had a rug. She's like, you need to stand on the borders of the rug. That way you guys will be far enough apart that there's no danger. We're playing tennis. She takes 2 big steps to the side in a spin and has her arm just out while she's doing it. I'm minding my business. She just whacks me in the head. I was in shock. I'm like, okay, well, I just got hit in the head. It's not the first time this has happened to me, not by this friend either. And
Wow.
she is like that, or she was. Less so now. She still steps on my feet, but that's okay. And my mom's like, Nina, half your tooth is gone. And I'm like, what? Looked in the mirror, and it's just a gap. It's pretty tight.
Unlucky.
Is it?
I mean, yeah.
Because now I got a pirate tooth.
Do you have a pirate tooth though?
I did try and get a gold crown or like a stainless steel crown even, but
Stainless steel crown would be pretty dope.
yeah, but they don't, well, for one thing, they don't last as long, and for another,
They said no.
they said no because it was a permanent tooth.
Yeah.
They only do them for baby teeth because they're like a temporary thing.
See, I heard this story and I thought it was infinitely funny because she went and got it fixed like right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it same day?
Same day.
Wow.
Same day.
Yeah,
okay?
emergency pediatric dentist got it and put it on. And it's
So,
been in there for 10 years.
Very fast, right?
Yeah.
I was playing in this very gym. I was playing freeze tag, or in this we're not in the gym, but in this very church. There's a gym. I was playing freeze tag, and there's a little red rectangle up on the wall that we would touch, and that was safe, so you couldn't get tagged. So I was reaching for it, and the guy who was it barreled into me, smashed my face into the gym wall, and I'm like,
Sounds
wow, that hurts. And I thought that I chipped the gym wall because, bold of me to assume my tooth didn't chip.
Pretty bold.
Well, I'm like spitting out what I thought was wall dust. Turns out it was my tooth. And I get into the bathroom and I see that I chipped my tooth. We went to my dentist at the time who said, no, that's not a big deal. And for 4 years, I had a chipped tooth.
You want to
3
hear a tale
years?
of 3 cities? I had a crown fall out in November.
How'd they go
That's
for
it.
Did
That's
they
the
get to put
story.
it back on? Was it just popped off and they cemented it back on?
That's
Or
the story.
have you not got it fixed?
That's it.
Jax!
Wait, you think I'm a millionaire?
Usually, if the crown pops off, I mean, I worked at a dentist's office briefly. usually if a crown popped off, they'd cement it on for no extra charge. As long as you still had the crown and they didn't have to make a new one.
Oh no, the crown like broke. It didn't like fall.
Well, then that's on them too. Just bring it in and be like, hey, you guys stink.
Oh.
And have them put it
Well, I
back.
got it when I was like 9, and the dentist is also no longer a dentist.
Well, then you're going to have to deal with that eventually. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe one day.
If you take too long, you're going to need a root canal, dude.
Get a new tooth.
Just get a whole new tooth.
Take the whole thing out of there.
Get an implant. Screw that guy in there.
Just
Keep it in there.
Ooh. Oh,
What's
yeah,
that?
that is the sound of the hydraulics for the elevator.
It's a noisy elevator.
It's a noisy elevator.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, an elevator in the church though. That's a step up.
Yeah,
Do we have an elevator? We do.
you do.
I
We do.
don't.
You also don't go to church.
Yeah, but I wanted everyone to know I don't have an elevator.
Okay.
You know, my friend, we were talking one day. I'm not gonna reveal any of her information because that's unfair to her. But we were talking, and she's very, very like no,
Okay.
you guys wouldn't know her. She was one of my friends from Austin, and she's very much. I found out basically that she is guilty of like almost poverty tourism, and like basically like not gentrification more or less, in that like she hung out with me and all my other poor uneducated working class friends of various origins, and one day we were just chatting, she was like, yeah, like blah blah blah, she was really drunk, and she revealed to me that she's like, yeah, I come from a ton of money. She's like, my parents have an elevator in their house because it's like 5 stories. And I was like, cool.
Good
I was like,
lord.
you're hanging out with me and all my friends who are out here
Sitting on
grinding to
the
make
top
rent.
of the sitting on top of the roof bar, watching the crackheads hit their heads in
sitting
the
on top of
cards.
I don't know if she ever went to the roof bar.
Tragic.
Probably, but she probably did. Maybe not without me.
I'm sorry. I'm going to need you to rewind.
Okay.
What on earth
So
are you
there's a
talking
bar in
about?
Austin on 6th Street called Maggie Mae's.
Okay.
It's a run-of-the-mill bar, but the cool thing about it is it's got like a rooftop. Like you can just walk up on the 2nd floor, and it's just like an open roof, and you can look out over the city. And like over 6th Street, when it's really busy, you can just like look down and watch people like flying around.
Mhm.
We would usually go on like Tuesdays because again, working class friends who are poor, we don't really have like.
Yeah, you go on the weird
We work
times
during the
because you're
weekends.
working. I believe we've talked about this before, where like all things that happen that are social activities happen during peak restaurant hours, so you never get to do things.
Exactly. So like we're all like poor kids, and we'd go hang out during like happy hour at like this bar on 6th Street on like a Tuesday, the slowest day. And basically we would sit up on the 2nd floor, drink cheap beer, and watch crackheads in the street. That's the whole story.
Sounds like a good time though.
It was pretty fun. I mean, because everything everywhere was empty, and they were just like all like the people who were homeless that lived in the area hanging out down the street. And all the other like poor restaurant people who are like coming out on Tuesdays for their one bit of socialization.
There you go.
Sounds about right.
I respect that. When I was working restaurants, I never made that attempt to have socialization.
Really?
So I never really, I just worked.
Yeah, there was a lot of good crowds down there. I met some good people, and honestly, like a lot of the homeless people were really cool too, because you hang out with them because you're not really above that,
Mm-hmm.
and no reason to be. So we just go hang out with the people on the street, and
Austin, as far as as far as cities go, Austin is pretty safe.
yeah, it
It's
is
really safe. It's the safest city I've ever been comfortable just kind of wandering around like on my own or with like my roommate when we would go, because we went down for a couple different concerts and we just kind of wandered around, and I wouldn't do that in Seattle.
Yeah, it's really it's weird. Like you don't really get harassed frequently. There's not like a lot of crazy people.
No.
Like there's obviously like your drug addicts and your homeless people, but like they're usually kind of like they're cool.
They're doing their own thing.
Yeah, they don't like harass you. Everyone
Yeah.
like if you talk to them, they'll be like, "Hey, can I have a couple bucks?" And you're like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah, that's basically it.
But it was a nice city.
If it weren't under so much construction, it's the other thing.
Yeah, and it's one of those where like it's like the money just keeps coming in and like pushing out all the people who are making it a cool place. And
Yeah, Seattle's the same way.
I mean, yeah, it's just gentrification. It's just like
So much
people come in
fun.
with money and they're like, "Here, let's make this cool. Let's keep doing cool things." But then they don't realize that by coming in with all their money and forcing all the people out of their homes, that they're actually eliminating all the cool things, and then they're just like running on fumes of what was once an individual.
Yep.
And that's Austin for you.
That's Austin. Seattle, too. I always felt that Austin and Seattle are very similar. Austin, I guess the reason I like it so much is it's like how I remember Seattle when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because we used to go downtown all the time and hang out. And then I moved back from college and I'm like, great, this is great. I'm going to go back downtown. I'm just going to hang. it is a mess down there right now. So
Really?
it's kind of upsetting. Like, it is a tragedy the way that it's been handled has not been very good. So you walk around downtown and, no joke, this is personal experience, exposed hypodermic needles just kind of littering the street, people in tents on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It's just, that's just how it has been. And then on one hand you have that, and on the other hand you have the corporation specifically. Everyone's kind of blaming Amazon, and I can't help but get on that train.
They didn't pay any money in taxes.
Thanks a lot,
At all.
Amazon.
Isn't that crazy? Whatever.
But yeah, they're trying to get, like, put all of these apartments in for new workers, and one of the big hot button topics is there's this venue downtown called the Showbox, which is this really old movie theater that's been converted to a concert venue. And everyone is ticked because Amazon's trying to put more apartments in there. So it just got given historical landmark status like a month ago or so, and I'm thrilled, but that doesn't guarantee anything.
Also, isn't it scary, the idea of, like, imagine you get hired for Amazon and they're like, hey, welcome to Amazon. You get to live in your prime housing and become a prime citizen, and you can work at your prime job for your prime dollars. I would never want to live in company provided by a major corporation.
Yeah,
Like, I would never want to live in their, like, housing that they own.
I'm currently living in basically where all the new Microsoft families live. It's just this giant neighborhood, and it's awkward because I'm not a Microsoft employee. Only one of my roommates is, and she does game testing. So she's not even, like, high and mighty. So it's a bunch of new families, and then 3 young adult women and our landlord kind of just chilling out. And I get some weird looks when I try and take walks. They're like,
Who are you?
who are you? With the punk look and the, like, flannels and the whatnot. Get that out of my Christian neighborhood.
Yeah, it's just always strange to me that, like, I don't know, that companies just be doing that.
Companies just be doing that.
I don't know. I mean, it's okay if it's like a neighborhood where, like, a lot of the employees live.
Yeah.
But, like, just some of the way that big companies like Amazon and Google treat their employees by being like, you can live in our housing as long as you work for us. And, like, some places do that. I know in Alaska, actually, a lot of businesses will put you up in, like, buildings literally attached to the company.
It's like extended college.
And, I mean, I'll be honest. Alaska,
It's a different matter because
because there's not a lot in Alaska.
There is
no, like,
not.
everything's in, like, literally a block. And, like, if you become a teacher in Alaska, they pay you a lot, but you also literally live, like, in the school half the time.
Yeah.
Not like in a classroom, but like you have like an apartment that's attached to it. But
So-
it wouldn't make sense because if you're going to teach there, they need to make sure you can get to school because half of the year is like entirely dark and full of snow.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well be able to
Might as well just
walk
little
in.
house on the prairie and
Yeah.
live there. Speaking of how corporations rule the world, it's weird that Disney owns most of everything, but I've never met anyone who works for Disney.
Disney owns Epic Rap Battles of History.
I know, I heard about that.
Really?
Did I tell you guys about that? I feel like I
I
may
feel
have.
like you mentioned that.
You know
It was
what? I
either-
feel it's because you guys follow me on Tumblr.
No, I talked to you
We
about
may have
this.
talked about that the other
We
day.
must have talked
I
about
missed
it the
this
other
because
day.
I haven't been on Tumblr recently.
Okay.
How are they okay with the content of Epic Rap Battles?
Disney?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how long they've owned them. I just know that they own the trademark.
Did we watch maybe the same YouTube video? Because I know there was a YouTube
I didn't
video
watch a
about
YouTube video on
it.
it. I just read
I
like
did.
a little like blog post about it.
Whack.
And I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
What are they
strange.
going to do with that?
I don't know. But speaking of never meeting anyone who worked at Disney, I know 2 people who worked at Disney. One of them worked there as like an intern for like, he basically worked in the park, like
Mhm.
operating rides and such.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine worked as Cinderella. So
Yeah, I knew
It's
someone
hard
who
to
used
be Disney princess.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta meet some strict requirements on,
Yeah.
like, your looks and your body. That's
Mhm.
wild.
she's a very attractive girl.
I would assume she
Um,
would have to be.
Yeah. And she played Cinderella at Disney.
Good for her. Sorry, we totally cut you.
No, you're good. I knew someone who used to work there as a photographer.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like one of the photographers that harasses you everywhere you go, and they're like, "Hey, can we get a picture?"
No.
Okay.
She might have.
See, I have gone to Disney before.
I went once.
I've gone like a couple times. When I was in marching
I
band,
went to
we'd go
Florida
every year.
once, and I went to California once.
See, I've never been to California, but when I was in marching band, every 2 years, actually not every year, we'd go to Disney. So I went like 3 times with the band, and that was fun. And then I think I went like twice with my family,
Mhm.
and it was neat. And now I'm too much of a woke communist boy to ever go back.
That's very valid. I know this isn't any more communist than Disney, but I will say I like Universal Studios more, but that's...
I think it's a more fun park.
I said something about that, and, like, my coworker came after me. My coworker came after me. She's like, it's because you like Harry Potter, isn't it? I'm like, no, it's because I like Jurassic Park, but leave me alone. You're right. The Harry Potter rides are objectively like the best theme park I've ever been to.
I don't like Harry Potter pretty much at all, but the Harry Potter world at Universal is like a really good time.
It is a really good time as far as like immersive
Also, butterbeer
experience.
is dope.
It is super dope, and you can get alcohol, like the little just pour it in there.
Oh, I know.
Oh yeah, no. My mom and I were
my
like...
sister was... I was 21. It doesn't matter. I mean, I feel like I've done this bit on the podcast before. I'm like, yes, I did not do this. Well, it was not legal.
Yeah.
But also, like, the statute of limitations for underage drinking is like 6 minutes.
Yeah, my big thing about the... about like underage drinking is that I usually qualify it. I travel a lot, so Puerto Rico drinking age is 18, Germany is 16, England is 19, and I've been to all those 3 places while I was underage but over their drinking age. And so I'll be like, yeah, when I was like 16, this was like my favorite beer, and because it's like the Radlers, like the I really liked those because it's just fruit juice with a little bit of beer.
Carbach has a grapefruit Radler that's really good. Although now they're owned by Anheuser-Busch, so they're probably not that good anymore.
Oh, tragic. I really like Radlers still. They're kind of my like loose drink. But yeah, people are like, what, you were like 16? I'm like, yeah. My aunt lives in Austria.
I do feel like people genuinely like don't question it as much. They're just kind of like, whatever.
It depends on the circles you're still hanging out with.
It does depend on the people.
Yeah.
But honestly, I didn't really drink underage at all.
Yeah.
Wait, is our device formatted?
It is formatted. I'm trying to figure out how to make it record properly.
Our device is... Wait, how long have we been recording?
Audio quality goes up.
We've been recording for like 45 minutes.
Nice. You guys ever leave reviews on Google?
I did once for a bookstore in Kirkland just because the guy there was really nice and it was a small business. And I was like... It was also like... I'm a big bookstore nerd. I would live in a bookstore if I could. So... I was just like, this is exactly the kind of place that I would like live if I could live in a bookstore.
There's a really cool like used bookstore in the town I'm working in right now. Mm-hmm. It's I think it's called like Back Alley Books. It's super cool. It's like a used bookstore run by an old dude, and like you go in and it's literally just like a whole bunch of old books.
See, that's what it was. I found I went to one in Arlington, Texas, and I found a first edition second printing of the Virginian. And that was probably I bought it because it was not in great shape, but it was fully illustrated. And yeah, I gave it as a birthday or a Christmas gift to the guy I was dating at the time. And I forgot to take pictures of the illustrations first. So R.I.P. in peace. But it was still a great find. I like old books. I will buy more old books when I'm rich and I have a lot of money.
Yeah, that is the prerequisite for buying most books, in fact.
I buy a lot of books.
Yeah, whatever, Jackson.
You just gotta buy, like, cheap books.
But if I want, like, good-looking books... Okay, I have 2 copies of the full works of Edgar Allan Poe because separate people got them for me for the same birthday.
What, like the Barnes & Noble, like the...
One was the Barnes & Noble one. One is purple with, the pages have black edges.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a really nice-looking book.
It's a nice-looking book.
I like it a lot.
I'd give it to you because I have 2. But I like them both equally, so...
Valid.
There you go. Yeah, I don't really have any, like, crazy rare books, I don't think.
If you do, you don't know.
There you go.
Yeah. I have a really old copy of Mosquitoes by William Faulkner. I don't think it's it's like a second edition, but it's also like a book that's not worth anything because apparently nobody but me likes it or knows about it. So that's cool.
I mean, it's worth something to you, so...
I mean, yeah, that's why I have it. But like, yeah, like I couldn't sell it or buy it.
One of the nicest things that anyone has ever done for me is Emma came over to visit me one year, and I was super drunk, and I was Carson walked away for like 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, I gave Emma the whole rundown on how much I hated the copy of Sweeney Todd and the String of Pearls, which is my favorite book. I hate it so much because Sweeney Todd is described explicitly as having a head of hair so thick it's like a hedge. And the guy on the cover was bald. And I was absolutely furious. So I went off on Emma. And Emma, like, I didn't think she even heard me. But she came back for my birthday, like right before I graduated. And she had a copy of Sweeney Todd and the String of Pearls. And the cover was the original illustrations from the Penny Dreadful. And that is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me, I think, to this day. Because people don't listen to me even when I'm sober, and she listened to me when I was drunk.
That is amazing. Also, no one I don't think has ever given me a book maybe like as a gift. Like my sister may have like once.
It's kind of terrifying because you're kind of a book person.
I know.
I don't want to get you the wrong book.
Well, I also think it's kind of a like I don't know. I guess I don't have many books that I like actively want or talk about wanting.
Mhm.
So like it's kind of intimidating to be like, I'm gonna get this, and I'm like, I have 4 copies of that.
Yeah.
But I actually have like 5 copies of several books.
I ended up with 4 copies of Fahrenheit 451 because the bookstore I worked at just made me take them.
I feel like something that would work out for getting you a book then would be something along the lines of, what do you call, not really caring about what you want in a book and getting you a book that like I found a lot of meaning in. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like that, I might be wrong, but I feel like that might be something Jackson enjoys.
Yeah.
Especially if you went and wrote notes about your take throughout the book, making it a personalized book.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty dope. I did have a friend of mine.
Hey, Jackson, off topic. When's your birthday?
February 12th.
Thanks.
I'm not going to tell you the year, though.
No, you don't have to do that.
Podcast.
We're on podcast.
Well, because I'm like 8,000 years old. And you'd be scared because I would have to reveal to you that I'm actually like the immortal being who was cursed by an ancient deity to roam the earth forever.
That.
On that topic, actually.
On that topic, yes.
I saw someone talking earlier about how they feel the trope of vampires being out of touch with modern culture is funny, but it's a little too tired.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, aren't they living in modern culture the entire time?
So the argument that was made was, given the time they have, would they not adapt to modern culture?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, old people suck, but vampire... But I mean, I feel like
old people were going to be my argument against
it. Your whole argument in like 2 seconds.
So here's the thing: old people suck, but vampires are hot. Here's why that matters.
Okay. No, hear this out, because this actually already is making sense.
So old people suck because they're not hot. In this essay, I will explain to you why being a vampire and being hot forever matters. Okay, so if you're a vampire, people want to bang you, and you're trying to like hunt people and eat them. So like if you're trying to like live off the blood of humans, the best way to interact with them is not solely by being attractive, although that is a huge help. Incels unite.
Yes, continue.
So if you're a vampire and your only way of surviving is by constantly killing and eating people, or like drinking their blood, which is functionally eating them, it's like a smoothie, because it's really, the blood's really thick. like a soup, like
blood is pretty thick, but
like tomato soup, where it's kind of like you're eating and drinking at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to be constantly finding people who interact with you long enough that they gain your trust, or that you gain their trust, I guess, because they don't trust you. And you want to have the people be relatable to your interests, so your interests might as well be modern in order for you to keep up
So basically you're in the dating scene 24/7 as a vampire, and because of that you are forced to stay relevant to the culture.
If you're not like actively interacting with people who are young, then you don't have to pretend like you're one of the young folks. But if you're always having to interact with them and kill them, then you've got to be relevant to them. They've got to come up and be like, haha, I had to do it to him, right, guys? And the girls will be like, haha, yes, you had to do it to him. And they're like, and kill them.
Okay.
That's my argument.
I'll be honest, your argument makes much more sense than the argument I heard.
Although, if we're going off the lore where vampires are just like, you're bit and you're good, then they could just like be reclusive and hide away. But I was kind of thinking of vampires as like that you constantly need to kill young people.
Yeah, because I guess it does depend on what brand, because what I brought up in that same conversation, Kroger brand, great value.
Yeah, great value, Dracula.
I was talking in the same conversation about how like one of the best examples I've seen of like vampires staying up to date is the vampires who are secluded in what we do in the shadows, and then they meet another guy who's younger than them and also a vampire, and he kind of like brings them into technology, and there's some good humor that gets out of that because they do adapt really quickly, and that's just a good vampire take in general.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, this dude still hasn't seen it yet.
I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it is. I own it and the TV series, which is also very good.
It's pretty funny.
It's like high on the list of things that I'm like going to watch and just haven't got around to yet.
We'll get around to it
someday.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
I definitely want to, because I've heard nothing but good things from everyone who's talked about it. So like,
Speaking of vampires, I'm talking to Dan, and we're playing a D&D game, and it's...
Right now?
No.
Okay,
We are
that's
going
impressive.
to be playing a D&D game, and in the conversation about the D&D game, he was like, I don't know what kind of character I want to play, so I was like, you should play a vampire. And so now he's playing a vampire, and I think that I'm going to have this conversation with him because I don't think he's realized how old he can be. Like, he can be an old vampire. Are werewolves immortal, though?
I don't think so. Well, they can be.
It can be. I think that, well, I wrote a series that had a lot of supernatural creatures, and I just kind of defaulted to werewolves being immortal.
Yeah,
because
just do whatever.
I think it depends on whose lore you want to go into. Because the Ageless Vampire and then the, like, Den of Werewolves are your traditional stereotypes, but it also kind of just depends on who you want to pull your backstory from.
Yeah.
See, I feel like vampires, I can't say the F word. We are in a church. I feel like vampires
Bang?
bang more than werewolves. Hear me out. I feel like vampires bang more than werewolves, but werewolves are hotter.
See, that's a matter of opinion.
Because
that's whether you're into twinks or bears right there.
No. That's not the underlying issue here is not one of appearance, but one of sociability. Where like a vampire that's ageless, although they will be keeping up with the trends in order to woo you, they're not truly part of the trends. You know, they really are just like a being that will take you and kill you
They're
and
a
then continue living
chameleon.
in their lair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just are constantly changing and they live
But
alone in their lair.
werewolves are like puppy dogs.
They got
wanna,
homies.
they want to be your friend.
Yeah, a vampire pulls up in the club to drag you away and kill you. Werewolves, the whole gang pulls up in the club to maul you to death.
Either
But
maul you
first,
to death
they're
or
gonna
just
party.
like they're gonna bring you into the party because the other thing is vampires are like not really social and
Yeah.
they'll like bite you, and if they make you into a vampire it's like now I have to deal with this
Yeah,
kid
it's just like if you get away kind of thing.
Exactly. Now werewolves, when you become a werewolf, that's just like you're part of the pack.
Yeah, they're just
They're like,
homie.
whoops, sorry bro, I guess you're one of us now.
Yeah, exactly. Werewolves, legit.
I can get behind that.
I think they are hotter on a social level, but I feel like vampires are more thirsty, literally. So they force themselves into situations where they're interacting on a social level.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
I also feel like cowboys are cooler than wizards.
I can get behind that, but I feel like we're both just saying that because we've spent a lot of time in Texas.
I just say it because wizards.
Wizards
What's
are
cool?
nerds. Warlocks are definitely cooler than wizards.
Well, but like, if you wizards dumb, you're telling me you read a book and now you have magic
yeah,
powers?
exactly. Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Cowboys-
I've read a lot of books. I don't have any magic powers.
Cowboys, yeehaw! They can read books. They usually don't, because why would you do that when you're on the open range?
Yeah.
You know, they boil coffee grounds and just drink that.
That's pretty cool.
They don't even strain it. They just
pretty
boil the coffee
metal.
grounds and drink it.
We'll say.
And
I can't fault your logic there.
I mean, if your choice of gun is a revolver,
cool.
you're already on the top of my list.
Especially if your choice of gun is a revolver in a situation where a revolver is less practical than every other gun.
Exactly.
You mean the modern era?
Yes.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, revolvers still have enough benefits that like it's not impossible to pick that over a regular handgun.
Mm-hmm.
Even like a semi-automatic handgun, a revolver still has benefits, but also it's
Also, they just look
pretty
good.
integrated.
And I'm
They
a
do look
very
pretty good.
aesthetic driven
like
person.
your old like Colt Peacemaker with like the huge
yeah.
barrel. It's just like so cowboy.
Were the barrels like almost as tall as you are?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of modern revolvers have like a snub nose barrel, which is part of the advantage of them because they're a really compact gun.
They're really compact, but they also have a lot of kick to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you can also make a revolver huge, like in terms of like actual like bullet size.
Oh yeah.
Like the 500 Magnums that they use in like Alaska as like an anti-bear gun.
Yep,
that you can have in your pocket.
Yeah, anti-bear guns are kind of important. I had a friend who was anti-gun for a long time. She went to Alaska and was like, I feel like we're bordering on the 30 to 50 feral hogs conversation right now.
Yeah, how would you defend yourself against 30 to 50 feral hogs? Actually, it's funny though, because like I'm not anti-gun, but I'm not like super pro-gun. I just...
Guns are like, as a concept, interesting.
Yeah, they're an interesting concept, and also like, depending on your walk of life, it may come in handy. Like
yes, and the 30 to 50 feral hogs, Noah and I were talking about this earlier.
Well, that's a very real danger
It's a
for me
very
and my
real
kids who are in
danger
the
for me
yard
and
for
my-
3 to 5 minutes. My children play in the yard for 3 to 5 minutes and 30 to 50 feral hogs come in. What do? How am I to defend myself and my family from these 30
So
to 50 feral hogs?
it was definitely
without a mounted minigun on my Jeep.
exactly.
What am I to do? This is unrealistic, liberals. What is the future that you want?
Get a katana. Just take the katana to the hogs.
If you become like a true samurai master, you might be able to slay 30 to 50 feral hogs before the 3 to 5 minutes that it takes. Wait, what if you train your children to be samurai masters? That way, they can slay the 30 to 50 hogs within the 3
Teach
to
your
5
children
minutes.
to defend themselves. That's how you defeat the 30 to 50 wild hogs.
It could be any number of wild hogs. I mean, 30 to 50.
30 to 50, somewhere in there.
Well,
somewhere in
because
the
one time
ballpark.
my kids were only out in the yard for 3.5 minutes and 45 feral hogs came out. But then last week I had them out there for almost 5 minutes and it was only 33 feral hogs. It wasn't that bad. Good thing I had my 18 assault weapons in order to defend myself.
It's the kids that are using the assault weapons.
Oh, I thought the kids were samurais. I thought that's what we said earlier.
Okay. Can they not be both? Can you not be a samurai wielding?
Kind of like out of Equilibrium, where they have the gun katas, where they dance around with guns.
That was pretty cool.
So that they can kill as many people as possible.
Yeah, that was a really weird
One kid's
movie.
got the gun, the other kid's like Deadpool, just cutting up the bullets and they're going in different directions.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen, I feel like I've replied to it on Tumblr plenty of times, but it's like the guy who like cuts the bullet in half. And like the bullets like were coming right out of his face, and he cuts the bullet in half like right in front of his face.
Was that not Deadpool in the X-Men Origins Wolverine? He definitely does.
And then it kills
this
two
is-
people
it's
behind him.
It's from an anime. No,
Oh,
he cuts
okay.
the bullet in half, and it just says like it stops the gift there, and it says local man gets shot in the head twice. Oh, yeah, that's probably what happened.
That's pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
I'm glad they did that gag in Deadpool 2 and he just got shot a ton and he's just like, wow. Oof.
Local man gets shot in the head twice.
Amazing.
It's super funny.
Amazing.
But I don't know.
I want to
guess
see the Mythbusters do that one.
Bottom line is, you can't wear a wizard hat into a bar and look cool.
Okay, I'd beg to differ.
No, you do not though, because
See, in the argument of Magic v Cowboy, I am heavily on the fence, but I got to
Not
agree.
Magic v Cowboy, Wizard v Cowboy.
But
Yeah,
in
but
the
it's-
original conversation, it did encompass magic
but
in general.
I did design myself my casino wizard, who is an Old West wizard woman.
Yes, but I do have to agree with Jackson. I can't envision myself walking into a bar with a floppy wizard hat.
Okay.
While I can envision myself ironically wearing a cowboy hat
It'd
just
have
with
to
a
be like
big
a
old
black-
belt buckle, just walking and being like,
Oh.
yeehaw.
What
And having a good old time.
I
don't think I could walk in with robes and a hat though and be like, I'll stand
That's
That's
really
because
nice.
you're not a
That's-
old man.
I really
You're
like
not old
Noah's-
enough yet. Wait till you go gray in 5 years and then try again.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I feel like you are heavily underestimating the power and agelessness of cowboys.
Old
I
man
mean,
cowboys are equally as good as old
exactly.
man wizards, though.
But
You're right.
Young man cowboys better than young man wizards.
I can get behind there because
Young man wizards in media are
Young man
always,
wizards-
always the worst. They're always
Because
like,
they're either a stupid student or they're the big villain that didn't listen to the smart
exactly.
old wizard.
There
They
you
didn't
go.
listen to smart old
And they
wizard.
all have greasy black hair.
Always greasy black hair, and they're always
Good and bad. They're
obsessed
greasy
with,
black
like-
hair.
Yeah, you've got like your option of like even if they're a good guy, they're always like, I went to noble wizard school. You will never best me in combat. And then like the main, because they're never the main character. When's the last time like a 30-year-old wizard was a main character in a property that was cool?
So you really don't think Harry Potter is cool, huh?
He's not 30. He was like 10. He was
He
in
came
school.
back.
He was a student. When he came back, he was like 18.
Yeah, canonically, the oldest Harry ever got was like 17 in the
What
movies.
about Cursed
18.
Child, Noah?
That doesn't count.
Cursed Child is a load of steaming trash.
It is. Don't let Carson hear you say that, though.
Hey, Carson.
Carson.
I haven't read it, but I know it's garbage.
I haven't read it either, but I'm on Noah's side.
I am
if I say
not
it's really
going
good.
to take a side here.
That's probably for the best. But, you know.
Anyway, Cowboys versus Wizards. I really like Westerns in general. Westerns are my favorite, like, ever book movie. I don't like country music though, so there's that.
I like country music, but not a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like if I was really leaning into the cowboy, I would.
but it would be like, I can't say the band name because it's got a swear word in it. We're in a church.
Cage of the Elephant.
Yes,
Yes.
that was the one.
Sorry for my language, guys.
Cage is the problem because it reminds us of our Lord and Savior, Nick Cage.
And that's sacrilegious, so we can't say
Exactly.
that.
Why am I listening to it on the Roku? I pulled up my Spotify to find this band name, and my parents are using my Spotify at their house in Seattle because it said you're listening on Roku in Seattle. Would you like to continue? What are they listening to?
Find out? We can find out right now live.
Veggie Tales. Oh no, what are we gonna do?
No. Is that the Grapes of Wrath song?
No, it's the Scallions and the Daniel story.
Wow, you were ready for that. You guys were both ready for that.
Daniel more than me and you.
Yeah, he's got it.
I got it. This is quickly scaring me.
Valid.
I'm sorry that you
I
weren't
got
raised
good
in the
news, though.
VeggieTales cult.
I think... Well, let me check my phone real quick.
Although, actually, I do have to go pretty soon because I got to go to work.
This is the band I was talking about.
You know, I'm a big fan.
Those poor bastards. I love
Don't
those poor
say it. We're in church.
For country music, he's not like super country, but Ron Pope is my main man. He's a little bit more folky, but very, very great. Gets me in the country mood, makes me want to drive and just look at the sky in the west.
I think folk.
He lives in New York City. But he's not from there.
Oh,
Just where his record label is.
Okay, that's fine.
I think that my like in place of like bro country, I think like folk and like stomp and holler is where it's at for me now.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like taking over like the what are they, stadium country?
Don't look at me like that.
Just the stomp and holler is just the dumbest
Isn't
phrase
it the
I've
dumbest
ever heard.
thing? Oh.
Anyway, though.
Anyway.
It is time to wrap up today because Jackson's got to go to work.
It's true.
So we're going to go do something, probably drink coffee somewhere. So,
I haven't had coffee yet today, and it is slowly catching up with me, which is why I've been chugging water like a maniac over here.
I was wondering why you're drinking so much water.
You guys
I've
should just
never
come
seen
visit
you
me
drink
at
that much
work.
water.
It's only like 18 million hours away from where Noah lives.
You got me there.
Maybe later.
We actually might.
I work
Never
until
know.
10.
We actually might not. But
We'll find out.
hey,
Yeah.
good talk, everybody.
And the next episode of Off the Air, can we have a preview?
We definitely can't because
Can we start just like on the next episode of Off the Air and we like say something and then like next week we have to do that.
Dan's back. So
Dan
Dan,
is
on the
back.
next episode of Off the Air, Dan's back. See what happens next.
Thank you for tuning in.
Can you believe Dan said blank? And we'll fill in that blank
when Dan says something,
Dan's.
even though we're definitely not recording until after this comes out.
That's probably true, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I'm
talk.
glad that we have that plan.
Cool. Did we plug?
We didn't yet.
All right.
Who got the plug?
Turning
out
Point
here.
USA on Tumblr. Where can we
I
find you?
am indeed Turning Point USA on Tumblr.
I tagged you the other
Please
day.
follow me.
I tagged you the other day, and I was so worried someone was gonna get mad at me.
Yeah, please follow me, Turning Point USA on Tumblr. I really just want to gain like a pretty substantial following. That way that I actually gain the attention of the real organization, Turning Point USA. And when they try and get on me as like the young Republicans that they are, I will refute anything they say. And then I have a stockpile of mean images to share at them.
There you go.
So
that's the only place you can find Jackson.
yeah.
Valid enough too.
You can find me at Nina Wolverina anywhere, basically. I do art and stuff, in case you didn't know.
There we go. You can find me as Bubba the Bad, BUBBADABAD. Also pretty much anywhere. I'm not sure exactly where outside of Twitter I'm active right now, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Follow me on
That's
Twitter.
all right.
The podcast, you can follow on Facebook.com/TheOffTheAir. No. Twitter.com/TheOffTheAir. Facebook.com/OTA podcast and Patreon.com/OffTheAir. I don't have access to my computer right now because my phone's sitting on top of it. So I can't check to see if we have any new reviews, but I'm leaning toward us not having any
I think we've got like
today.
10 more reviews, so.
Yeah, Noah.
I don't know if
He'll just do
we're
it next time.
set for shout outs yet, but shout out to Emma and Cloud just in case anyway.
Gang.
Definitely need to hit up Emma because she has something she's going to get one of us to say. I just don't know who yet.
Better be me. Better be something cool.
You never know.
She get me to say things. I'll just mail it to you.
she can't get you to say things because you're not
A
one of the
host.
hosts.
You're immune to the...
She can get me to say things just as someone she knows.
Yeah, she could
Yeah.
just like
She has that power.
message
over
you
me.
and be like, hey, say this next time on the podcast.
Yeah, she can do that.
And she
And I'll
could
do
do
it.
that to us too, I guess.
It's true.
Suppose
She
so.
probably
that's
could.
pretty much what the Patreon thing it literally is. So yeah, I guess she could do that.
There we go.
That's,
Anyway, establish that one.
But yeah, cool. Was a good time. Thank you guys for listening. And all things going well, Dan will be here next time.
that's a promise. Noah just promised you that Dan will be here next time. And you know what? I do too.
I'm not a host.
Nina promises
just
as
established.
well.
I can't promise.
All three of us have promised you 100% that Dan will be back on. If not, I'll eat my shoe.
You know what would be really funny is if it was like a solo episode of just Dan.
It'd be pretty funny. Dan is going to be alone on the podcast. That's a promise. Okay, that's we didn't clap sync.
I know.